Good evening and welcome to Delight in Fright. I'm your host, Kat, and next to me is the lovely Luna. This way.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you guys on a lovely Monday. I hope everybody is well and settled in. We have a great show today. We'll be discussing Peter Jackson's horror movies. Kat originally introduced me to the Frighteners a long time ago, and I wasn't aware that Peter Jackson made horror movies. So I hope you guys have a little bit more insight after we talk about it. We will start off with Bad Taste. Bad Taste was his very first horror movie. It was made it was released in 1987. It was made throughout the course of 4 years. It took him 4 years to make this, and it was done by volunteers. So there was no set schedule for filming. It was just all volunteers. It was mostly Peter Jackson and his friends. So that's why it took such a long time to film. There was no film schedule per se. It's just like, okay, I'm not working today. Let's go ahead and film this. Of course, any volunteer opportunity is just, as you can film it, right, Kat?
Yep. Whenever you get a chance, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. And like today, we're both off. We're recording this. So thank you to our lovely viewers that are here today. We have Juan in the house
Hi,
again. Hey,
Juan.
welcome back for some more fun. So without further ado, I will go ahead and show you guys the official trailer for Bad Taste, and then we can get into the nitty gritty of what this movie was all about. Yay. Notice how Peter Jackson's just eating a head. It's great.
Mm.
We've got trouble. Good word. Right, we're on our way. Tomorrow, wherever you for lunch. What are we gonna do? What at Frank? Go, Frank! That real ticket. Here, was watch all along. Look down. That's the end of the weekend, cowboys. What's that, boss? You go on. I'm gonna go back and stop those girls. God's sake, Oz, put that thing down. Just sit there and hit the leader.
Whoa. That was fun. Do you have anything, Kat, to say about your first reaction of this crazy movie?
My brother picked it up from like a mom and pop video store, and when we watched it, it was just hilarity, just nonstop. We just loved every freaking minute of it. And my mom loved it too. She was watching it with us and just laughing her ass off, as we all were. It was just sheer amazement. We're like, this guy Peter Jackson, he's going places, and boy, were we right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny because I want to give a huge shout out to our good friend Larry over at Crazed House. That scene where Derek, who is one of the characters in the show, I mean in the movie, sorry, and Robert is both played by Peter Jackson. So there's a scene where they're both fighting by a cliff and it's really intense, they're duking it out. You're sitting there watching it, oh yeah, this is a really good fight, and then you realize they're both Peter Jackson. So that was amazing because Larry also in his movie Jacob, he also has a fight scene where he himself fights himself, the cop version of his character, and then the drunk version of his character, his other character. They're both just kind of duking it out. So it's a lot of fun. It totally reminded me of that. So shout out to you, Larry. You're going places also.
Yay, Larry! And
Yay!
I didn't know those are both Peter Jackson.
Mhm.
Maybe I knew at one point and forgot, but when I watched it again, I did not know it was.
Yes. So the main thing, obviously, with this movie, since it was all volunteers, they didn't have actors. They didn't have money to pay the actors. So all of the actors that you saw on this in the preview or in the trailer were all his friends that volunteered to make this movie on their spare time. And one of the things that I definitely had to research, because I'm like, okay, New Zealand has really strict gun laws, and obviously they didn't have a production company, they didn't have budget. So how did they get a hold of all these guns? So actually, Peter Jackson made them himself with wood, epoxy, and a bunch of stuff. So all of the guns that you see in the movie are not actually real; they're actually fake. And then the little bullet flashes that you see, that's all like um, not graphics, but special effects. That's not real. It's not real. So it's pretty impressive what you can do without a budget, what you can do
Mhm.
just from your heart. Because this was not a movie that had a lot of money. Let's be honest. But Peter Jackson built this himself. He made these masks, the alien mask and the whole body, and you see their butts too. Nice butts, by the way, Peter. And so he made all of that in his mom's oven. So he had to make all the molds and everything and bake them in his mom's oven. So you can imagine the sheer just craziness of his mom trying to make dinner and it's like, oh, can't make dinner because Peter's making his molds today. So that I think is a lot of heart for his mom and his dad to be so supportive of this. And even in the special trailers of Bad Taste, you see the dad give like a little interview, like, "Oh, I don't know, Peter, if this movie is going to go anywhere. It took you 4 years to make, but you should enter it anyways to, the circuits and see how you do, see if you get any awards. But don't get your hopes too high. Like a parent, he doesn't want his kid to get his feelings hurt, etc. But he did very well. He won a lot of awards. The budget actually was only $11,000. That's it.
Wow.
$11,000. That's it. That may be just to buy the epoxy to make the little masks and the guns and stuff like that. But all the actors were, like I said, just volunteers. They were just his friends, and the very beautiful mansion that you see where all the aliens hide out. That was actually a museum that his Peter Jackson's parents knew the curators and caretakers of the museum. So they just used it as a filming location and they took really good care of it. The museum was like kind of worried to let, some 20-year-olds like borrow the museum to film a crazy movie, but they took really good care of it. And that scene where you see it blown up, that's not actually the museum. That was actually a replica of the museum they painstakingly made by hand to blow it up for that scene. So that was the part that like kind of took me away.
Was it a model that they did?
They
What
did. They did
do
like
you know
a
the size?
yeah, it was like a third scale of it. So it was
Oh,
pretty big. So they
okay.
had like carpentry and stuff and in the special features if you guys do decide to buy the DVD, it does come with special features and you guys actually can see behind the scenes when they were building it and how they were using like little things to blow stuff up and they're showing like trial and errors of blowing stuff up. They're not going to
Nice.
blow their build. They want to build, they want to destroy like little stuff. So then that way they can be like, okay, it works. Now we can apply it to the big thing. So,
And I love when the alien rolls the house up. That was really creative. I love it.
yes. And that scene where, towards the end, that scene where the house is flying up and going into outer
Hmm.
space, that was also a smaller scale house. They built a miniature
So I
house.
figured.
And then they also build, how the house is floating up and you see the landscape? They also
Uh-huh.
build a miniature landscape so it would be proportionate to the house lifting up.
Nice. I was wondering. I was like, that's some crazy shit, man.
So, spoiler alert, that's how it's done. But if you see it, you'll be like, whoa, they could do this in 1987 or before that because it took them 4 years to
Hmm.
make. So,
And
probably
and the
86.
the emotion that those masks had was just amazing. Like it was constantly moving and stuff going on and bubbling, and that's just crazy
Hmm.
for like just doing it himself and not having a professional to help him out.
Nope. He made them all out of his mom's kitchen.
And there was no YouTube videos then. He couldn't Google it. He couldn't look online to how to make the mix right. I guess it was
Just
just trial and error.
trial and error and baking and baking and baking them until he got the right consistency.
His poor parents, what the house must have smelled like with all those molds.
Yeah. Yeah. Super supportive though. They were very
Right?
supportive of him. So and his parents got him a camera when he was 8 years old and he made like little movies with his friends. He made like some cute little 9-year-old like World War II type movies where like all the boys were hiding in the trenches and they were only like 30-second movies because the camera he had at the time looked like a kind of like a VHS tape and it had a little handle and then once the handle stopped, you only got like 30 seconds of film reel, and that's all you could get at that time. So only just imagine that 30 seconds and then having to change the film out and then another 30 seconds and then
That's probably
painstaking
where most his budget went, was on film. Film was extremely expensive.
and explosive. Some of the explosives that
Yeah.
they use in this seem kind of pricey. We obviously know the guns were definitely just made out of wood and epoxy, and I don't know how much wood and epoxy these days cost, but it seems likely also a good chunk of
And
the
I love the
budget.
sound effects for the guns. It was like a cowboy western, the sound effects, and then like old kung fu movies as well. And it was just hilarious. You can tell like what his favorites were growing up.
Yes, it was definitely good, and this movie was part of the horror sci-fi. So definitely a very newish type genre. Definitely for him. But I like the horror sci-fi. Did you like that, Cat? The horror sci-fi of the film?
I loved it. I think a lot of movies kind of have multiple genres, and horror
Mhm.
sci-fi is a good way to go. You can have very horrific things that are sci-fi as well. Sometimes they kind of blend and they merge. So I think it was a great way to have a fun story and stay within a low budget with the characters. If you can't have the same guy the next day, he's an alien now.
Yes. Yes. And oh god, that scene in the trailer where Peter Jackson was eating the person with a spoon and the brain was cut off. He was just like, I'm like,
Nom nom.
Peter Jackson,
But
where did you get this idea to eat somebody from?
it follows with the title, right? It's all in bad taste, and that's why it's great. And I love
Definitely
the
bad
part
taste.
where he vomits a bunch of stuff into a bowl, and they're passing it around. And the other dude's like, he's disguised as one of the aliens. You know, it's super hard to disguise yourself as an alien. You got to have blue jeans and a blue button-up shirt. I know it's difficult. How are you going to do that? But he did it.
Yeah.
And he was there. And they're passing the bowl around. And then it gets to him. And he's like, oh, God, I got to drink this barf. And then you see he takes a sip. And then he's like, that's kind of good. He like goes in for it. And then they snatch it away from him.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what that tasted like because, I mean, he's a human. He obviously would not know about this, but he was really into whatever goop they were eating. And fun fact, just a little bit behind the scenes stuff, that scene where he's barfing into the bowl, that was a mask, by the way. That
Oh,
was
wow.
so the way they did it is mold again. They did a face mold of Peter Jackson's face, right? Or not Peter Jackson's face, the other yeah, it was Peter Jackson's face. And then they had to put a hose through the head so they can continuously get that
Mm-hmm.
barf coming out because it was a good 30 seconds of barfing. So they had to get all that liquid out. So that's why they used the hose, and then they had like a trough where it just kept coming out of the hose. So it's really interesting stuff. Like I'm a big fan of the behind the scenes. Like I want to know how the magic happens. Like in a magic show, I don't care about the magic trick. I want to know how it's done. I'm that kind of person. Like show me how you did that. That was
Doesn't it
amazing.
ruin it for you then? If
No, it
the
helps me
mystery is
appreciate.
gone? Okay.
I don't care about the mystery. I want to know how things work. And this is what's gotten me in trouble so many times as a kid because I want to know. Like I will break shit apart and be like, "Oh, there's a cog in here. Okay, I get it." So, it doesn't ruin it for me. It makes it better. If that
Okay.
makes any sense. It like enhances how I see it. I would appreciate a scene a lot more if I knew shit they used a lot of wiring in that and it took like 20 hours to build that, etc. I would like, whoa. I can appreciate it a lot more. It doesn't to me it doesn't take away, it adds. So the goop was an interesting scene. Uh yeah. I don't know. Do you got anything else that you wanna say, Kat,
Uh,
about this one?
I love that. I love the Beatles in the front of the car.
Yeah, they have. That's totally it. Oh, oh, it wasn't this one. I almost confused them, but in a lot of his movies, there's a lot of Queen of England references.
Yeah, this one at the beginning. I was gonna mention that at the beginning of the movie, you see the Queen,
The
and
Queen.
then Dead Alive was the same way. Did you find? I didn't find out anything about his. Is it just him as joking about the Queen, or I don't know?
I don't know why. It's like if we made a movie and then put our president
I
in the
guess like
movie,
God
like
save
it's
the
like a.
Queen, and
Yeah, it's like, what is this had nothing to do with the queen or anything. It's just like we're putting it in here because we're New Zealand and we like the queen or something. I don't know. One said sounds like a really fun movie. It is a really
it
fun
is.
movie. If you haven't checked it out, you can definitely buy. I bought my copy on Amazon for like, I don't know, maybe like $12 and free shipping through Amazon Prime. So, although I don't like Amazon, can't hate on them when they have a really obscure movie like this. And did you, the thing that I found the most weird about this movie is I thought Peter Jackson's human character, who ended up being the savior in the end. Spoiler alert, sorry
Derek.
guys. Yeah,
Derek.
Derek. I found it weird when, he falls on the rock, whatever. And then when he gets up, he's like trying to shove his brain back in the thing, and then he puts a belt over his head to try to hold his brain from falling out of his like skull. That scene to me was so disgusting. I don't know why, but him trying to like shut the back of his
Yeah,
head to
yeah,
keep
that
the
was gross.
brain. I thought that was really disgusting, and it looked, this brain looked really kind of real but kind of disgusting at the same time, and I'm like,
Hmm.
ugh, can you not like get a close up of your brain every like 5 seconds, please? And then he'd like find more brains and try to shove them
Yeah,
in there, and
he
I'm like,
powered himself up at
oh,
the end. That's how he got fresh brain and powered himself up. That's how he kept
he
going.
just he just kept shoving pieces of brain he would find in his fucking hole, and just kept, cinching it with a belt to keep his all the new brains from falling out of his head. I'm like, ugh, that part
And I
kind of
love
disturbed me
his
for some reason.
line. At the beginning, he's like, I can't. They're like, you should go, get away. He's like, I can't. I'm a Derek. Derek's don't run. Like, why? It's just so silly. That's what I love about this movie. It's just pure silliness. Like, you can tell, the kid at heart just coming out with hilarity and gore and
Yeah,
nastiness.
yeah, and you shoving brains. I don't know. And I want to take a huge moment to appreciate something that you guys need to see when you guys see this movie. I know I've been talking a lot about it on social media, but I'm sorry, it's just kind of a thing. But let's take a moment to appreciate this zombie. I mean, not zombie, sorry, alien butt cheeks.
Butox.
The whole time they're running away. He didn't have to put alien butt cheeks in here. He didn't. He could have gone away with just jeans. But the fact that he did, oh my god, it just made it that much more better. And when they're running, it's like, I'm like, no, stop. And they zoom in on it, and I'm like, alien cheeks. I mean, people love them, I guess.
You gotta have an
Alien
alien
cheeks.
with their thong.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a jean thong. I'm like, Peter, I don't know. This is getting a little weird, but I'm here for it. I can't judge.
He was young. He was still figuring out things.
But I appreciate it. I appreciated a alien clapping of the cheeks, as our kids are now saying, clapping alien cheeks. Well, Peter Jackson was there before you all, so you're welcome. Well, are you ready for the next one, Miss Cat, or do you still feel like we
Yes,
should?
ma'am. No, I think
Okay.
we've done the bad taste justice.
Yeah. Yeah. We finished off with some alien butt cheeks. We're good. Life's good. We
That's
can
right.
move on. We can move on to Dead Alive
Yeah.
or Brain Dead.
Mm.
Formerly in British and I believe Australia and New Zealand. So depending on where you are, you'll have different titles.
Yeah. And this one was in 1992. This one is my favorite. It's my personal favorite. I just love it to death. And the version that we watched was uncut, so that was really nice. There were actually some things in there that I hadn't seen before. Um, but this is just another family favorite film that I've always loved, and I'm glad I could share it with you, Luna, and I'm glad that you loved it as
Yay.
well. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. It was, some scenes were a bit much. I was like, ugh, like the intestine.
Mm.
I'm kind of weird with like intestine scenes, and like there's one scene in particular where the intestine was crawling down a rope.
It
I'm like,
comes alive.
that like, oh, that grossed me out so hard. I don't know, moving intestines by themselves. Oh,
This one won 14 awards. It won a lot of awards. Go ahead and roll the preview for us, Luna, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
ooh,
Ooh.
we all like nitty gritty.
this picturesque block, in this manicured home, something evil, something terrifying, something horrifying is haunting Ryan. Mother,
I thought I told you to stay in this house. The place is infested with vermin.
although she was a little strange,
Look at this dust. It's an inch thick.
he never wished her any harm
You look after me, lad.
until
Your mother's dead, Lionel.
now, whatever Mom's got
Who's your mother?
has caught on with the neighbors. You can pray. You can
Yes.
You can beg for mercy. But nothing you can do will stop. Because how do you kill something that's already dead? Trimark Pictures presents a modern masterpiece of horror.
Your mother ate my dog!
Dead Alive.
Party's over.
I kick ass for the Lord.
That
Love it.
that was probably my favorite line in the whole movie, because you see this like priest guy, he's all like about God and stuff, and towards the end he's just like kicking some zombie ass, and he's like, I could cast for the Lord, and then he does all these crazy like karate moves. I'm like, oh shit, this priest has been catching up on his Bruce Lee movies.
Love it. So what was your favorite part, Luna?
Ooh, that's kind of a loaded question, because
Right?
it was all really good. I think when they have towards the end, they reach like the peak, and then it all kind of goes downhill where they're having the party, and then everybody just keeps getting bitten, and it's like I think the house party, because everything just kind of escalates, because for a while it's like, yeah, you gotta control one zombie, and then maybe two zombies, and then a baby zombie, but then at the party it's like everyone's a
Yeah.
fucking zombie. So that was like the best for me, because it's like a lot of blood, a lot of effects, definitely a lot of special effects in that, and yeah, so that was probably my favorite scene.
And there's never a dull moment in this movie. I mean, from the very opening, there's the Singaya
Gaia.
chop. Apparently, the natives know that if you get bitten by this rat monkey thing, that you gotta cut it off before it infects the rest of you. So I love how they know what's going on, but the stupid doctor or whatever picks up the creature, takes it to the zoo, and sweet Lionel is there with his lady that the grandmother reads the tarot cards for her and tells her what's going on, and then doesn't tell her about the bad parts.
That's something, as an avid tarot card reader, do not lie. I don't care if it's a friend or family and you want to protect them. Whatever you see in the tarot cards, do not lie. Do not be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great and awesome, and you guys live happily ever after. You gotta tell them about the rat monkeys and the zombies and everything
Yeah.
else. You can't lie about that. Sure.
Oh my god. And then the dog, the poor dog. You ate my dog. He's like, not all of it.
There's like chunks of it in the bed.
Seriously, like,
That part got me. I'm just so happy they didn't actually show the.
no.
I was like, because that would have like really like bothered me. But it's like, yeah, you could tell it was just like a wad of
Fake.
hair.
Yeah. It was
Fake,
just
super
she
fake.
took it on the tail.
Yeah. I like the special effects though on that scene where they're like the chunks of like meat are on the bed and it actually looks like it. Like I can't be like, I'll be like, oh, that's rubber. I couldn't tell. I'm like, oh, that's gross. You know?
And he's so nice to his mom. But I mean, like, when do you stop? You know, like, when is enough enough? Like, mom's clearly dead, and he still takes it as his burden to, like, take care of her
He's definitely
and her friends.
yeah, he's definitely got a little bit of I want to say maybe mental issues because he has that like caregiver complex where he's just been taught like you have to be a caregiver, you have to cater to me. So he just has that very giving, very let me take care of you kind of personality that was probably cemented by his mom because anything you saw her running around with the knife pointing at everything, clean this, clean that. It's like
Mm.
fuck, don't stab the kid, dude. Like
And if she hadn't have stalked him and went to the zoo, we wouldn't have had this situation.
yes. This all happened because she found out her son got a date and decided to stalk him at the zoo. And then the rat monkey bit her through the cage, and that's how she got infected. But if she wasn't a controlling, you know, crazy mother, this wouldn't have happened. You know, they would have gone to the zoo, been like, oh, that's a
Mhm.
weird fucking rat monkey. And then they would have gone home, and that would have been it. But
Yeah, she should have been at home getting ready for her WLWL meeting. Remember what
oh
was
yeah,
it, the women's the
was this a?
Wellington
Oh,
Ladies Welfare League.
it sounds like one of those like you're super rich and you join one of those like league to donate money, and they end up being rich associations anyway that probably don't need donations, but you know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun. Kat, what was your favorite part of the movie?
I mean I have so many. I mean, the part where the intestines take on a life of their own, and
That
just
part grossed me out.
with it chasing him around and curling down the, it's
Oh,
just great.
oh.
And then you gotta love mom at the very end. I mean, you not only have the big booty, but you got the mammos. You got the old lady giant mammos. That's
Oh yeah, that whatever creature was lurking under there, I was like, God
that was
damn, this
mom. That's what happened to his mom when when she got all this stuff.
that was
Because he
really
thought he was
horrifying.
giving them like poison, and it turned out to be like animal stimulant.
Yes.
So they were all powered up, and I love how they all jump out of the grave like action posing. Ha ha! It's like a Power Rangers intro, like yo.
They're like all mutated and shit. That animal stimulant just gave them all kinds of powers. Emma Quinn said, "Ha ha ha." It's true. But see, I wonder why the the stimulant for the pets or the whatever animal stimulant, why it made the others just look like they already did, but with like maybe a little more agility, and why it made the mom look like this horrible, hideous creature. It just doesn't make
I don't know.
sense.
I have no idea. I guess because she did horrible things, we find out,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
what happened to really happened to his dad, and that was just messed up. I mean, maybe she merged with some other dead corpses or whatever.
Yes. And then Emma Quinn says exactly the way cat mimic is legit. It's true. Good job mimicking. That's awesome. Yeah, this movie overall for me was I enjoyed it a lot. Some of the scenes were really disturbing and it kind of made me think like Peter, where the fuck are you getting these ideas? Because I mean, moving intestines, and then the scene where he gets the lawnmower and starts like literally mowing people down, and just blood splatter everywhere. I'm like, dude, you need to talk
But I
to a
love how
counselor.
Lionel takes charge at the end, you know? He's gonna protect his lady, damn it. He's mowing the lawn.
Yeah, yeah. And his mom did tell him, you got to take care of the lawn. So I guess
Yep.
this lawn was inside.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the best for me, honestly, now that I'm thinking back on it, is every time that creepy uncle, you know,
Oh yeah.
where he's trying to get with Paquita,
Yeah.
he always ends up getting kicked in the nuts. I don't know if you notice, the baby kicks him in the nuts, which is a zombie baby, by the way, guys. A
Yeah.
zombie baby kicks him in the nuts. Paquita kicks him multiple times in the nuts. I believe a zombie or some sort of
A
long thing.
disemboweled foot kicks him in the
In the
nuts.
yep, everything, everything just wants him to feel pain and suffering through nut kicking, which makes sense because of the kind of person he is. So
Yeah,
I
he deserved
appreciated
it.
seeing that. Yeah, he deserved a lot of nut kickings for sure.
And I also love the part where Lionel takes the baby to the park. I
Oh
what
my
I don't
god.
know
Yes.
why he feels the need to take the baby to the park.
Maybe he's trying to like see if he can convert the baby. I don't know. That part was
Okay.
weird.
All right, I guess. Maybe some daylight, the baby will like just
Kind of mellow
get
out.
better.
Mm. Those, but talk about those baby carriages. The whole time I'm like sitting there talking to Kat. I'm like, oh, I want that baby carriage. I don't even have a baby, but I want that baby carriage so I can, you know, push
You could
it.
put the dog in it. You could put the
Yeah,
dog in it.
definitely. I could put especially the grandma dog that I have. She's a pug and very old, so I can definitely push her in like a little baby.
And
So
she's a pirate too.
she is a pirate.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, there's a real body part back here. I don't know if you see it. That's my dog's eyeball I got to keep. So my dog's been watching you this whole time, every podcast. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
I just keep it there because it's like the only horror element that's like real that I have. Not real human bones or anything. Just my dog's eyeball. So little fun fact for you guys. Maybe next episode I'll show a little close
Yeah.
up of it. Be like,
Yeah.
you can still see the eyelashes and stuff on it. And I'm like,
What?
yeah.
No.
How much trouble would I get if I just zoom in on it on camera? I don't know.
I don't think you would. I mean, she's all better now.
She's better, yeah.
You saved her life how many times now?
Yeah.
That dog is lucky.
That dog is lucky. I mean, I spend like $10,000 in vet visits and shit. I'm like, the least I could keep is her fucking eyeball, preserved
Right?
eyeball.
She
I mean,
owes you.
she owes me the eyeball. I mean, at this point, it's like I don't know. It's like, I saved her life so many times. The least I get to keep your eyeball. We're kind of even, I don't know. But she's very cute. She's very loving, and I'm sure she doesn't mind. So
She don't care. As long as you feed her and love her, she's a happy puppy.
yes. Woo! Let's park ourselves back in Dead Alive. Sorry guys, we had to go in through a little tangent. We have people lost. Like, what? For real? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, shit happens.
I know, right? I'm a little jealous. Like the doctor wouldn't even let me keep my tooth when I got it extracted. But she gets a whole dog eyeball. It's not fair.
Yes, yes. It was funny because it was like kind of a weird conversation because I'm like, I went up to the surgeon and I'm like, can I keep my dog's eyeball? And then the surgeon's like, I'm like, oh, my friend's a mortician. She can, preserve it for me. And then he's like, oh, okay. A weirdo. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I was just like, yeah, my friend's a mortician, she can help me preserve it. And then he's like, oh, okay. So you don't want to keep it to do weird stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm going to preserve it. That's already weird enough.
And then do weird stuff.
Yeah, like show it off to you guys. Like, why not, right? God, it's so weird. That's a little behind the scenes, guys. Just
Well, let's go into your our last movie.
ooh.
Yeah. That's your favorite.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite genre.
You guys want to know something? You guys want to know a little secret? The Frighteners is official. Very official, because you want to know why? I will tell you why. Horror fantasy. That's why. The Frighteners is all about fantasy elements mixed with horror and a lot of really interesting blends. So let's take a pause to watch the trailer. I'm pretty sure Universal is going to flag me for this, but I don't care at this point. They're like, hey, this is copyrighted. I'm like, and I'm not monetizing off of it. I'm just showing people so they can go watch it.
Or buy it.
Yeah. But anyways, without further ado, here it is.
There has been a destructive force unleashed on this town such as I have never seen.
It's not happening!
We have got a poltergeist!
Okay, folks, I can do it there. Guarantee. That fell totally for granted. Hey, Stuart, in or out, huh?
Frank Bannister had a remarkable ability
Psychic investigator?
to communicate with the dead.
You can see spirits?
Emanations are normally confined to the cemetery.
You cannot push spirits around!
Although they do escape.
And an uncanny knack
We're gonna scare the living daylights out of your parents.
for making a profit off the living.
We're supposed to be his business partners.
Everyone says that you're a fraud, but I've seen what you can do.
Difficult, Frank. Death ain't no way to make a living.
But now, some things put the fear of death in the living
What is happening to me?
and send the dead running for their lives.
I've seen a figure in a cape.
That was the soul collector. When your number's up, that's it.
Frank, we got problems. All these murders that have been going on in Fairwater, they're gonna pin them on you.
From Universal Pictures and Robert Zemeckis
You're next, pal.
and acclaimed director Peter Jackson.
We don't stop till the screaming starts, you dig?
The Frighteners.
Yay.
Did you guys
Ma-
notice how Michael J. Fox is in this? Yes.
I'll go through our cast in this movie. We have horror royalty Dee Wallace. She's the mom from Cujo, the mom from Critters. She played a lot of horror moms. The Hills Have Eyes, and my favorite, The Howling. So she's been in a lot of great horror movies. We have John Astin. We have Jeffrey Combs. I love Jeffrey Combs as the special agent. Danvers, Milton, very weird. Super weird. He just, no matter what, he steals the scene. That's what he does. It's just hilarious. And then we have Jake Busey. And the judge makeup was done by Rick Baker. I mean, we have some amazing talent for this movie. Did you know, Luna, if it wasn't for this movie, you wouldn't have Lord of the Rings.
Yes. I know.
Because he had to build, um, started with one computer, and of course, it was taking forever to do all the special effects. So he built 35 computers to do the 500 CGI effects that they needed for the film. And then he's like, what am I going to do with all these computers? So he thought about a fantasy um, genre, the next project that he could do to utilize all these computers that he had, and that's where we get the Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And I did notice that, well, this movie was made in 1996. A fantastic actor in this named John Lay. He's also in Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
So yeah, I loved him in Lord of the Rings. I liked him a lot. Also, he's also a New Zealand actor, so it makes sense why he would pick him. But if you guys have not seen what his character looks like, I will show you guys what he looks like. Sorry, I have to pull up the file. This is kind of impromptu, but I don't know if you remember seeing him in Lord of the Rings. He's the actor that's also in this movie, The Frighteners. So, just a little fun fact. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And who was he in the Frighteners?
In The Frighteners, he was. Ooh, let me go back to. I'm bad with character names. Bryce Campbell. Yeah. Let me see if I can find his picture from that movie so you guys can see.
Was he one of the ghosts?
I believe so. Let me. Oh shoot. Was he the one with the ghost with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have been the ghost with the glasses. They just made him look so
Mhm.
skinny because I'm like looking at.
Well,
And
maybe when he was younger, he was,
yeah.
you know.
So let me just show you guys real quick what I'm browsing. So this is when he was like, he did a lot of stuff with Wingnut Films, which is some of Peter Jackson's early film company. So I'm pretty sure it's him, right? The character or him. I don't know. One of those two. I'm like not
Mm.
100% sure, but this is what I find when I look up his name. So definitely not him. So yeah, he plays one of those two characters, either this one or this guy. So yeah, that's if the audience wants to give us an exact, that'd be cool. But if not, we get it. Yeah. So, what did you feel about this movie, Kat?
I love this movie. I have since it came out. Michael J. Fox he's just amazing.
Yes.
Um, and his character has a lot of depth, and you find out why his character's so kind of disgruntled and upset. Um, but it's just, I mean, the uncut version, like, I mean, I knew that the judge did the naughty with the mummy and the casket, but they show like a lot more of that scene in the uncut version, and I'm just like, wow, okay. I think was this R or PG-13 at the time? I don't
Um.
remember.
Oh. I'm trying to see. I know it was made in '96.
That was the year I
Uh,
graduated.
it
Yeah.
made 29 million in box office. That's not bad. Their
Yeah, it
budget,
wasn't considered a real hit at the time.
no, because
Man.
it took them the budget was 26 million, and in box office they made 29 million, so they kind of barely broke even, like 4 million more. So it's like, yeah. after you pay everyone, it probably like kind of breaks even, you know? Let me find out what the rating is.
But that,
I'm pretty sure this is. It says it's rated R. Despite many efforts to go for a PG-13 rating, they were not able to. So it's a rated R film.
that might have been what hurt it at the box office too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They were pushing really hard though, from what I'm seeing on the internet. They were pushing really hard to get a PG-13 rating, but no, the
Yeah.
critics were like, bad.
Yeah. Sadly, some kids' parents weren't as cool as mine.
Yeah.
Mine were like, any R-rated movie you want to see, just make sure I'm with you so I can explain it to you so you know what's real, what's not. So thanks,
Yeah.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah, a lot of good parents, that can watch this with you and will, and they'll show you. Oh yeah, they used fake blood, or they can, if you're like really scared, they can like talk you through it, and then you'll be like, oh, you kind of learn to appreciate the art for what it is, art. So I like that. I'm glad that your parents did that for you. One says mine. Aw. I'm glad you guys had that experience. I didn't get to watch horror movies until my teenage years because my parents were very unless it's something Catholic related, you're not watching it. So
Meanwhile, there's a dude hung up on a cross everywhere in the house.
yeah, the blood.
That's not horrific.
Not at all. Not at all. So I would just roll my eyes because I missed out on a lot of good things. Like I hear stories of people saying, "Oh yeah, I got to see, this movie with my parents," and I'm like, "Must be nice." I had to introduce myself into horror, but that had its benefit because I got to experience it at my own pace. And at first, I was very much into like Universal monsters and like Bride of Frankenstein, things that weren't as horrific as some of the modern stuff. So I think I weaned myself into it. So
And you don't have to watch the terribly edited for television version that cuts out half the movie so you barely understand what's going on, so you end up
yeah,
watching it multiple times until you finally like see the whole movie. Like
yeah,
The Exorcist, there's so much I did not know that was in The Exorcist.
yeah, because they cut it out, right?
Yep, they cut a lot out.
Yeah. So it's really good to go back and watch some of these movies that you watched as a kid, just so you can do the uncut versions and kind of just see them again and be like, whoa, that wasn't I don't remember that from the movie theater. So it's nice to go back and do that.
And I love in this movie and all of Peter Jackson's movies, you can see that he's playing with different angles and points of view, and
Yes.
like in Dead Alive with the nurse and the head flipped upside down, and then you're seeing everything from her point of view. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And the Frighteners, with the ghost and things that are coming at you, it was kind of Evil Deadish as well, with the camera like coming to get you. But it's at least when Peter Jackson does it, he doesn't do it, it makes sense. He's not just doing it to like be edgy or like to try something new or make it look different. It makes sense for the movie or the character, the situation.
Yeah.
So I love that about his early works, and still continue today. We have Lord of the Rings, and with these broad, huge sets that are just beautiful. And of course, you want to see that. You want battle scenes as well. The gore's still there, so it's all great. His work, and it's good to see from the roots to today. And
Now, yeah. I gotta say, when I was watching the special features for Bad Taste, he did talk about the new camera that he bought, and then he also bought like a little. It's called, I don't know. It was like a weird stabilizer that you can attach to like a backpack, and then you can run, and
like a
then it'll.
harness.
Yeah, and it was like so
Nice.
cool. He's like, "Yeah, I only got it for like $20, you know?" And I'm like, "Whoa." So, extremely low budget and but so creative. And you can tell now that he has a lot of money, he doesn't half-ass it. Like King Kong was beautiful. Lord of the Rings are some of my favorite movies of all time. I can rewatch Return of the King over and over and over and over, and I love that movie. I can right now, if I'm really depressed, I'll put on Return of the King. By the end of it, I'll be like, humanity's saved. It's okay, guys. We're gonna make it. So that's the
People don't
power.
suck that much.
People don't suck that much because you have
What
these.
is he working on now? Isn't he doing something else
Um.
with Lord of
Ooh.
the Rings? Even though he said, because each movie obviously takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
Yes.
He said he was gonna kind of step away from that, but I think he's jumping back in
I hope
with
so.
yeah.
Ah, I'm hearing that in 2027 he's doing like the Adventures of Tintin.
Okay.
It's rumored that that'll come out in 2027. It might be pushed back even more because remember the writer strike and all this fun stuff.
Oh, I
So,
I got I saw that it ended today. Did I read wrong?
which one?
I got the writer strike.
Oh, it ended today?
Yeah, I got it. I got
Oh.
a
So
email or something.
it may come out in time actually then, but
Yeah.
2027 is still a long time from now. Um as a fan, I want to see the Silmarillion. Hopefully I'm saying that correct.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's such a hard read. It's such a hard book. So I want to visually be able to see it. So when I read it, it kind of makes sense because when you're reading it, you're like, oh my god, you're so overwhelmed. But it'd be nice. I'm more of a visual person myself. Books are as much as I love writers, books are so hard for me sometimes because I'll read something and I'll be like, hold on, let me reread it. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. Like my brain just gets like convoluted and I have to reread something and it takes me like what a normal reader would take like 2 minutes, I would have to take like 5 or 6 minutes. Sometimes double, triple time depending because I'll like read it, I'll be like, the fuck did I just read? And then I go back. So it would be kind of nice, like if Peter Jackson could make that movie so we can kind of see the beginnings of Sauron and kind of see like how these rings came to be, etc. The Rings of Power, uh, no, send it home, send it to the pits where it came from. We
I thought it
want,
was okay.
yeah. I don't know. I guess I was expecting too much and I wanted that Peter Jackson kind of vibe and his work is you can tell cuz he plays a lot with cinematic views and like it's all stunning and beautiful, but it has a good story and it has a good pace, I feel. I know some people might say it's a fucking 4-hour movie. I'm like, "Yes, but it paces okay." So I don't know, but what do you think? What would you want to see? Do you want to see more King Kong movies? Do you want to see more like
I'd like to see him go back to some horror sci-fi.
horror
I
fantasy
would
for me
be
personally?
I would be interested. Maybe horror sci-fi fantasy, huh? Huh?
Ooh,
Just split them all.
aliens! Oh my God, aliens and elves against each other.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like aliens come and want to reforge a ring, and then like the humans gotta fuck up the aliens, and there's all kinds of blood and explosions. Uh, if you end up writing it, I want like $5.
$5.
I want $5. Yeah,
That's it. Just give me
I don't. I
$5.
don't. Yeah, just give me $5. I'm happy with it. So yeah, I haven't found any conclusive stuff about what Peter Jackson is doing, except for that
Super secret.
Tintin super secret, yeah, Tintin
He's doing
sequel, which I'm like,
secret squirrel stuff.
yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, we get more Lord of the Rings or more horror movies, please, Peter. But I can just put it out into the universe.
There you go.
So, Miss Cat, do you have anything else that you want
No,
to
I don't.
tell our lovely people?
No, I'm glad that I got to introduce you, Luna, to Peter Jackson's horror roots, and I'm glad you enjoy them as much as I do.
Yeah. I love this. I loved it so much that now I have a new appreciation for him. Because before it was like you don't know where if you don't know Peter Jackson's former cinematography, you're just like, oh, King Kong, Lord of the Rings. He's always been this badass. But then you find out there's things like Dead Alive, Bad Taste, The Frighteners, and you're like, holy shit, he's been this good since he was 25, just with less money. So it was
Yeah.
awesome. He's a so awesome person, and I'd love to meet him one day and just thank him for providing us with such good entertainment. Not only entertainment, but something you can rewatch, and it genuinely brings you joy and happiness. And I want to see that more in the world. I want to see art that can really just take you and just you get to enjoy it multiple times, not just like one and done kind of movies, but
Hmm.
things that you can just rewatch because you enjoy them so much.
My dad used to always want me to put on a Lord of the Rings for him because he would
Oh,
love watching the scenery and the horse riding, and then he would, he'd go to sleep, and then he'd wake up when the battles were fighting, and he's like,
you're
oh,
like, oh, yes,
because he'd watched it so many times, and it's just, like you said, a rewatch is it's welcoming, to kind of
yeah,
escape a little bit to that fantasy world, and
yeah,
believe in magic again. So
yeah.
uh I definitely want to thank him for that as well.
Yes. The elves for me personally, oh my gosh. Just all the wood elves and all the Lothlorien, Rivendell, all of those places, I'm just like, ah, can I be there just eating grapes and just hanging out with elves and having harp elf ladies just kind of serenade the masses and just like,
And then just stop the
ah,
movie before the bad things start happening.
yeah, yeah. And then just kind of like be like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to this side of things. That'd be great. You can just pop in. Before we go, Kat, I have this like weird thing that I want to invent. I have like a weird inventor mind. You know, Oculus Rift? Like you put on the
Mhm.
glasses and then you can enter like
Yeah.
games and stuff. I want that, but in movies, like where you're able to interact with the movie. Like literally, you're there, you're in the battle scenes, you can move around, enter stores, do stuff like that. I'd just love to put on the glasses and just fast forward when they're in Rivendell and just kind of walk around and just sit there
Nice.
for an hour, read a book, and then be like, all right, I'm turning it off before everybody starts dying because I don't have any battle combat experience.
That would be
That'd be
cool.
that'd
I
be
know
cool to
they
experience.
have some movies for it, but it's like a immersive 3D. It's like
No.
surround 3D. It's you can't stray off from the the movie and be like, I'm just gonna wander over here and see what's going on.
Yes, kind of like in a
That would
video
be
game,
awesome. Yeah, no, that
I
would be
I
awesome.
I would totally love that. I've always wanted that. And what inspired me to want that is oh god, as much I hate romance movies. You heard it here first, guys. I hate romance movies. There's one particular movie called 200, 500, I don't know, some number of days of summer. Oh my god, that girl in that movie, I just wanted to put these glasses on so I can punch her in the face, get out of the movie, and feel so vindicated. Because I just wanted just bad things to happen to that character. I just, oh, what she did to that poor man. I think her name was Summer, or something like that. Ugh. That's why it's called 500 Days of Summer. Oh, but yeah, that's where that idea came from my hatred towards that character. But then I thought about it and I'm like, no, I can use this for good. I can go into movies that I enjoy, pause the movie and kind of sit there in that time and just enjoy the scenery. And there's a lot of movies like that where you just want to like pop in, not when the chaos is happening, but when the slow parts of the movie are happening, so you can just walk around and maybe interact with some elves in the back. Like, hey, baby, you want my number? You can come back here anytime you want.
But then, what would make you come back to this world? You might get stuck. You might get addicted.
True, but that happens when you play video games anyway.
I
The
know.
same thing that makes you go to work every day, the same thing that keeps you going, the same thing that keeps us coming back here every week to entertain people. Just that drive, you know? Knowing that you can pop in and out whenever you want and keep life going. I don't
Have
know.
your one night stand with your elf.
Yes. Mm. Or maybe those alien cheeks from, Bad Taste. Slap those a little bit around and then go home. Before they turn me into soup.
Yeah.
Human soup. That'd be cool, I guess. I just need a big rocket, like a rocket launcher.
Yes. Yes. Why did they have to blow up that cool car? Like, what? Why the muscle car? Why are you gonna blast it? The dude's like, my car, and I'm like, I know. I'm like crying with him.
That was painful to see. I'm like, there's better ways that this could have been handled, but Peter Jackson apparently was experimenting with blowing shit up. So,
And the aliens are like just ready to steal this dude's car.
Yeah. Juan said LOL. So, yeah, very fun stuff, guys. So next week, before we leave you guys to your own devices, next week is going to be a little bit of an early stream because David A. Roberts is joining us so graciously from England. Our live will be at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 6 o'clock British time. 6 o'clock p.m., mind you. So it's quite a difference. So we wanted to be accommodating to our guest. He is the director of Older Gods, and we will be discussing Older Gods. You can stream Older Gods, I believe, on Tubi. If you guys want to do this as your homework assignment, I know I shouldn't have assigned you guys homework, but if you want to be able
It's
to
fun homework.
it is fun homework because guess what? It's free to watch on Tubi. You can watch it right now on Tubi for free. And the director will be here. And if you have a question directly about the movie, guess what? Your guy that made the movie's right there. You can go ask him. Come on, we'll take live questions from you guys if you guys do have any questions. So watch it free on Tubi. Meet us next week on Monday at. I'm sorry, not Monday. Ooh, this time it'll happen on October 3rd, and October 3rd is a Tuesday. So you guys get a little bit of an extra day and a half. A week and 1 day to kind of watch it. And then join us on the 3rd of October at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll talk about this movie. I'm so gracious for David for doing it. He's a very busy guy over at his film company. I believe he does stuff with Wagyu Films. So that'd be very interesting to talk to him. So, yeah.
Yay.
Kat, do you have anything else for our viewers today? Did you want any closers or anything you want to say?
No, had a lot of fun talking with you and our viewers as well. Thanks for joining us, Juan. And,
thank you.
Look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Yeah, thank you, Emma, for popping in. You were like trolly and awesome. Thank you. We appreciated the engagement. Thank you, Juan, for being so engaging throughout this stream. And for you, sneaky ninjas in the back, I can see you. We have some viewers on YouTube. So thank you, sneaky ninjas, for hanging around.
Hiya, ninjas!
Well, don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe and share with your friends. We'd love to get the word out. So without further ado, see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.